Good evening, everybody. My name is Michael Galoyu, and I'm your co-chair for doing your training tonight. And thank you for spending part of your evening with us. I'm a delegate now. What? So tonight we're going to be going over I've already did the introductions, and then we're going to go over quickly the state party structure, the state convention structure, and walk you through all the deadlines. Since it's a presidential year, there are a bunch of different things that we need to do differently than we would do at a off-year convention or off presidential year. The state convention schedule on what to expect on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The upcoming trainings that we have for you all, communications, as well as information and resources. And then we will go open it to a question and answer period. So starting off, I wanted you all to see this. This is the structure of your party. As you see there at the top of the structure is the delegates. You all decide as delegates, you have full control over this party. What you decide at this convention will dictate what we do in the next 2 years and beyond. Beneath that is the State Central Committee, which is equal with the Executive Committee. And then you see the county structures. Like I said, this slide deck will be available, so you'll have this as a resource for you later. So the state convention structure. The state convention is controlled by three different documents: the delegate selection plan that helped oversee the PPP, the party-run presidential primary on March 6th, as well as the DPH state constitution and bylaws. We use those three documents to help build our standing rules, as well as the committee meeting rules. And so there you go. The convention committee. It's a standing committee of the DPH, which means that it appears in the state constitution, and our structure and requirements are in the bylaws of the Democratic Party. So the co-chairs is like JC, Rena, and myself are your three co-chairs for this year. We oversee all aspects of the convention. We were appointed by the party chairs and confirmed by the State Central Committee. Your standing admin committees are the credentials and elections. Then we have the standing committees, which are affirmative action, platform, resolutions, and rules. The standing ad committees you're not going to really see much on, you probably, except for on election day, or even hear from them unless there's something comes up. The standing committees, these are the ones that oversee the amendments to our affirmative action plan, the party's platform, resolutions that are submitted, as well as rules covers any amendments to our constitution and bylaws. There are two different types of delegates. One is the elected, which is most of you here tonight. You were elected at your biennial election meeting. Or you maybe later on, some people will be elected by the district council, or at the very last period appointed by their district chair. They all, no matter how you got here, you all have the same power.
Yeah.
You all have the same power and rights and privileges. I do remind everybody, please mute yourself while we go through this. Thank you. And then there's the automatic delegates. Automatic delegates are all elected Democratic officials, including county races and OHA. SCC members, your district chairs, and the formers, which former governors, lieutenant governors, and party chairs. At convention, we have three different types of elections.
Why isn't it's fine with me?
Okay, hold on one second, everybody. Again, I'm going to ask you all to mute yourselves. Keep yourselves muted. There you go. Thank you. So sorry about that, folks. There we go. Back to election types. You have three different types of elections. So the party elections, which is for party chair, national committee members, and your state senate representatives. All delegates get to vote on these, and these are done by electronic ballot. And we'll talk about that more later. Then there's the delegates to the DNC, and that's going to be held in Chicago, the Democratic National Convention held in Chicago. Only elected delegates that appear in person via signed paper ballots may vote. And then there's the presidential electors. All delegates that appear in person have to vote via a signed paper ballot. And we can cover that a little bit more later. So, deadlines. Your first deadline's coming up here really quickly. It's March 21st at 5 p.m. This is for delegates and only delegates to apply to serve on the standing committees, the four big ones that we mentioned earlier, as well as the credentials committee. To be appointed, you have to have registered and pay your delegate fees. So you need to let us know that you want to run, and then you need to make sure you're registered and pay your delegate fees. April 6th, it's the deadline for early bird registration and delegate fees. If somebody's made a delegate after this date, they have 3 days to register and submit their delegate fees to have access to this early bird pricing. 2 days later, your deadline to file the awards nominations for Meritorious Achievement, that is our perpetual award, as well as one that was added in 2022 by Chair Tyler at the time, Tyler dos Santos Tam. And this is to recognize our members that do not just what work in the party, but out in the community and in between conventions. And so these submissions do not require additional signatures. And so your deadline is April 8th at 11:59 p.m. Next is April 12th at 5 p.m. This is the deadline for individual members who wish to submit amendments to our party's foundational documents or a resolution. These submissions require 2 delegates and 10 additional members to sign on for them to be considered by those committees. And again, our foundational documents are our platform, as well as our bylaws and our constitution. And those all can be found online. April 27th. This is the deadline if you want to run to be a SEC Senate rep, national committee member, or party chair. You need to turn in your nomination form with the supporting signatures. And each one has a different requirement, so make sure you read that. It's all there on the form. And there's a required $10 filing fee. And there is no waiver for that. On April 30th, speaking of waivers, at 11:59, a delegate, it's the deadline for a delegate to request a waiver. Requests received after this deadline may be considered depending on available funding. And all this information about how to ask for a waiver is available after you fill out your registration form. And so, since this is a presidential year and there's different ways how we do things, May 2nd is your deadline to submit the following: your voter pledge of support form. This is who you support to be president. You have to submit this form to let us know who you're supporting, because that tells us which elections you get to vote in. Your candidate pledge of support form. If you're running to be a candidate, you have to submit a separate form, and this is candidacies for the following. These are the DNC delegate seats. Either if you want to run for congressional district level, PLEO, which is party leader and elected official, and there's a whole formula and how that is decided and how those and how they are how people are eligible for those, or at large, and that's these as at large at the state. And so you have to so there's those forms for statements of candidacy. And then if you want to vote in the electors race, you have to again sign out your electors pledge of support form and the electors statement of candidacy form. The different thing with this is, like with everything else, you have a Google form that you can fill out and do it all online. With these, due to the way that the DSP was written prior to us receiving it, prior to Kate and I receiving it, has a requirement that it is a paper only form. So you need to download the form, or if you don't have access to downloading, you can email us at 2024conv@hawaiidemocrats.org and let us know which forms you need, and we will mail them to you. Do not wait till May 1st, because you have signatures. All these have signature requirements for you, and you're going to want to pay attention to those. And then they have to be emailed to the party secretary, or it can be mailed to party headquarters. And again, that information is on our website as well, with the address where you can mail it to or drop it off at a headquarters. We have our PO box where you can mail it to or drop it off at party headquarters. And if no one's there, you can just slide it under the door. Okay. The next deadline is May 6th. This is the last day any of those, the 4 big ones, affirmative action, platform, resolutions, and rules can meet, if a meeting is called by the committee's chair. If there's no reason, they've already done all their business, they've already closed out their committees, and they're ready to move on, they on. and they won't be meeting on May 6th. It's there's not a requirement for them to meet on May 6th, but this is the last day they can. May 7th, that is the deadline for delegates to register and pay their delegate fees. Again, May 7th by 5 p.m. is the deadline for delegates to register and pay their delegate fees. If you have failed to register or pay your delegate fees, your seat will be considered vacant. And then the credentials committee will then move people up into your move people into your seat following the processes that have been set in place that are available in our in our bylaws. May 10th is the deadline for all in memoriam submissions. Our secretary, Bigsby Ho, is going to be leading this effort. So we have a form for that as well. It's a Google form to help you fill out, to make sure that we get, we want to make sure we capture everybody and honor and remember them for as any member of the Democratic Party that we've lost since we last gathered in Waikiki in 2022. By May 13th, the affirmative action plan, platform resolutions and rules committee reports will be posted to the convention website by this date. So they may be posted earlier. So all the work they do is going to be in a document that you could go back and look at, and that will be available to you to review in advance. May 16th, this is the deadline for any delegate to request separation from the affirmative action plan. The reports we just talked about, you have until this date to ask for it to be separated out and debate on the floor of the convention. It's an online form and it will be posted in early May. All separations must be required by 10 other delegates supporting the separation. Items as they get separated out will be posted to the convention website. And it is only delegates. And to be considered at this point, to be considered a delegate, you must have registered and paid your delegate fees, not just have been elected. May 16th is also the deadline for delegates to register to speak on any of the items that were separated out. Delegates that register will have their names posted on the website. And this is the website down here, dphconvention.com. This is going to be your general censure hub, but we'll talk more about that later. We will gather in person and online via Jumbo on May 18th. And then on May 19th, it's all online via Jumbo. And all these deadlines are available on the website as well. So it's now May 17th. What are you going to expect as a delegate? So at 12:01 a.m., an email will be sent out from Interim Party Chair Adrian Tam, welcoming you all to the 2024 DPH State Convention. Followed shortly after that, an email will come out from MRG. It's Merriman River Group. This is the same organization that did our elections, our party elections in 2020. They also did our party elections in 2022. They will send you out an email letting you how to vote. They will come with your password and the link and how to get in to be able to vote. And this is, again, just for the party elections. This email will come out. If you do not have email, do not have access, there will be a phone number. You need to let us know you don't have email if you do in advance. And so we will make arrangements for a telephone number to be provided to you so you can call in and make your votes known. And you're like, but I want a private vote there. And again, as you remember earlier, I talked about signing your ballot. There is no such thing as a private vote when it comes to any of these things happening at convention, because this is not just your vote. You are representing the people that elected you, either at your March 6th meetings at the biennial election, or if you're an automatic delegate, the people that put you in office. So they have a right to know how you voted. So there is a meet and greet is being discussed. We'll have more information on that should that become available and that actually materializes. Okay, so now it's Saturday, May 18th. If you are showing up in person at the Hilton Hawaiian Village, we're going to be in the Tapa Towers. Online will be via Jumbo. Check-in, according to the standing rules, is from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. for delegates to check in, guests and student observers. If you're appearing in person, we will be serving breakfast at the Hilton Wine Village. There will be no events scheduled throughout the day on Saturday by the convention committee because we want your full focus on the convention. And then all voting during the floor business will be done using Jumbo. Actually, it's an app that's it's called Slido. That's going to be part of the Jumbo platform. But don't worry about that. We're going to train you on that later, and we'll get to that in the training. So, and for anything to go to Slido, there has to be at least 25 delegates to oppose a motion. If you appearing in person, we'll be serving lunch at the Hilton Wine Village. During lunch, we'll have our keynote speaker that JC and Adrian are working on as we speak. By 12 p.m. an email will go out to all delegates from MRG, Merriman River Group, that have not voted yet in the party elections, reminding you you have only 6 more hours to get your ballots in. 5 p.m. will be the end of business for that day. It may continue on May 19th, and I'll cover that in a second. Hospitality events that evening may happen. We're still working on those given the parameters of the contract that we were handed. And so we're still working on that for those of you that are going to appear in person. At 11:59 p.m., voting closes for party elections. So you have until that time to get your ballot in or follow the instructions on how to call in your vote. May 19th. It will be at the call of the chair. This will be announced as the gavel goes down. If there's more business, we don't get through everything on the 18th. If there's something still left over, stuff still left over on the agenda that needs to be covered, it will be at the call of the chair, at the chair's discretion, if there's more business to be done. And again, this will be for everybody to do via Jumbo. By 5 p.m. on May 19th, an email will come out announcing the winners from the party elections. And again, that's party chair, national committee members, as well as any contested state Senate reps voting. At approximately 6 p.m. on that day, there will be an organizational meeting for the 2024-2026 SCC committee. This will be happening via Zoom. This is for all the anybody who's newly elected or their term does not end at convention for the SEC members. And they will be electing the vice chair of the party, the secretary, assistant secretary, treasurer, and assistant treasurer, with nominations only coming from the members of the SEC. And it's voted on by all members of the SEC. Following that, there will be the election of the at-large, Clio, and alternate delegates to the DNC. And these elections are going to only be limited to the SEC members that are Senate reps. Again, Senate reps of the SEC are the members are only allowed to vote in these elections. And we use for these, if you filled out the application to be considered, you're going to notice that there's they ask you for your minority statuses. Again, that is not confidential. It is public knowledge. Because will be brought up at this meeting because we use the at-large, Clio, and alternate delegates to fill out our delegation to at least do our darndest to match our affirmative action plan and try to make sure our delegation matches the makeup of Hawaii, not just our party, but all of Hawaii. So there's that. So if you become a standing committee member, you're going to be required to attend a training. You're going to have to go to the training, and if you don't go to the if you can't make the training, there will be a video made. Surprise, surprise. But there will be a test if you actually watch the video. And if you fail the test, you don't get access to the Zoom link, and you're going to have to watch the video again. And that's for all committee members. You sign an agreement when you sign up to be to be asked to be appointed. And in that agreement, you're agreeing to the training, and you're also agreeing that you're going to take the information back from that committee to the group that you are representing as a delegate. So if you're representing your precinct. You're supposed to, with the help of your district chair, get the information out about what's happening. If you represent a caucus or a county, those are the kinds of things that you have a responsibility to. Or you can just point them to the, we are going to record all of your meetings. We are going to be meeting via Zoom. Everybody's going to be meeting via Zoom. There will be no central location for Oahu only delegates, and then everybody else has to call in. Everybody meets via Zoom. It levels the playing field, and those meetings will be recorded and posted to our YouTube channel. That training will be announced. Those trainings will be announced shortly. Other upcoming trainings in late April, probably May, we're going to be having trainings for those of you who are going to be an in-person delegate, how to use Jumbo, as well as online delegate training on how to use Jumbo, because there's a little differences for the people appearing in person. Moving right along. So your main information resources. Like I said earlier, the main place you're going to find all the answers, almost any question you can think of, is at dphconvention.com. A lot of time and energy has gone into that. I encourage you to, if you haven't been there yet, to at least go look at it so you can familiarize yourself with it. It's going to tell you how to do everything, and it walks you through the steps. All the deadlines are there. As the committees get appointed for the standing committees, those committee members will be posted there. That's the same page you're going to find the links to the recordings for the meeting, for those meetings. And when the reports are done, that's where they'll be posted as well. You'll also be able to see who our sponsors are, so you can thank them for helping making this convention possible. You will find anything and everything you need there. If you have not already done so, please add 2024 CONV at hawaiidemocrats.org to your contact list. You will be receiving email communications from us via that email address. We are using MailChimp because it's customizable, and we are able to fill in stuff that we can't use HiDems for. So that's where all the emails are coming from. So we are still processing the forms from March 6th. So as those come in, you will get email. We'll send out emails to everybody once we get a majority of them into the system to let them know, hey, welcome. You missed this training, but here it is, and what your next steps. And basically, we'll do our best to keep you abreast of any major changes. We're not going to spam you, but we ask that you do not unsubscribe from this, because that's going to be your main source of direct communication with the convention committee. So if anything happens and we need to get a hold of you, well, that's how we're going to do it. We'll also post any major changes to the website as well. The YouTube channel, I talked about that earlier. This is where you're going to find this training to live. You're going to find all the standing committee meetings, those recordings, any special messages. Candidate videos for those running for party offices. They have the right to submit a video, and we will post it there. And remember that this is going to be open to the general public. So anybody who finds the channel, I don't know how many people are going to be out there looking for it, but if they do, this is everything you see there is what's in the public domain. When you register, there on the online form, there's a question asking if we can text you. We will be using the testing system primarily from our from MRG, but if I get my act together and we get things going, we might be able to use it also to alert you of any floor votes, any major floor votes. So if you're off wandering around, to get back, or at least check on your phone to be able to vote using the online forms, online processes. But there's no guarantee on that. So that's the state convention in a nutshell. Remember, those are your dates, email address, our website. I am now going to stop sharing and stop recording, and I'm going to start going through the questions and answers to make sure what I got.